Alright, so teleporter. I like to do this. You can get away with not doing it. You can grab the big ammo up there. It doesn't really matter. The main thing is that you get over here and you start building your sentry. 3 or so suicides should work. Be like, I don't know, scout, soldier, pyro, or something like that. Whoever you decide to have do that. Where you put the sentry, the thing about this point is that there's basically one spot, but every engineer seems to put it in a slightly different place. I like to put it right on the edge of the stairs here. Putting it against this edge of the cliff here means that it can shoot down at the track if people are trying to push the cart down there. You can also put it more over here. Main thing about this spot is it protects your combo who's holding up here. You can wrangle it over to cover the hill. Dispenser can again go in one of several different spots. Back here more, especially if you have the sentry gun somewhere around here. Somewhere against this wall. Usually prefer to keep it kind of far away from the sentry so a single sticky won't just hurt them both. Teleporter and goes there. Dispenser can go in this place too. I see people put it under the stairs too. I'm not sure why. I'm not really sure what this does that the other one doesn't, except being under stairs. I guess it's people thinking that when the other team pushes with Uber up here, the teleporter won't be in danger, but in reality, that's going to be the last thing they're focusing on. They'll be busy with your team, your pyro, who's probably going to be trying to air blast them, your counter Uber, and your gun itself. Alright, what's going to kill this sentry usually is either going to be a good Uber, or somebody just getting over the hill here without anybody actually calling it out. Direct hit soldier can come up here, and if you don't know that he's here, can destroy it before you realize it. Same thing with a sniper. Sniper who can get all the way over here without being contested is pretty dangerous because not only is he shooting at you, he's shooting at your medic. You can deal with both of those if you have it called before, if you're watching there, and you can just wrangle at them. It'll harass the sniper, it'll make the soldier unable to do anything. If the other team decides to Uber around here, your pyro is going to be your first line defense, and your Uber just body blocking going to be the second. If you still have Uber, and your pyro is still up, they're not going to do much here. They might be able to destroy the sentry. Your main job is to just not die with it. If nobody's watching the tunnel, the demo man can come under here and then fire stickies up there. You should usually have the scout or somebody down there keeping an eye on that. At the start of the round, expect bombs. They'll usually go for your medic to try and make him drop Uber or force Uber so they can get up here and have a nice free Uber. And your job there is mostly to just deny the jumper. You can do that by making them float in place with the Wrangler, or sometimes just leaving the sentry to shoot on its own. Sometimes people, especially a demo man with the sticky jumper, can just jump faster than the sentry can actually lock onto him. So you need to be aware of that. Since it's first point, you're not going to hold it for super long unless teams are rather imbalanced. One push, maybe two, and the other team should, take control of this area, take control of the high ground, and once that's done, you're pretty much going to back out. As the engineer, you should be the first one to back out. If your team's still in there fighting, don't be afraid to leave if there's nothing you can do. You dying trying to set up a level 1 sentry again isn't going to do as much as having a sentry up at the next point for you to fall back to. I kind of like using the Eureka effect on the first 2 points of this map sometimes, just because it can be difficult to back out. It's quite a long way from here to the roof, and Since when you lose this point, the other team will usually be pushed up to here. It can be very difficult to get out alive. This door doesn't open until the point's capped, so you can't go out that way. It also lets you reset the teleporter entrance if it got destroyed somehow. Sometimes teams will send a soldier or a scout with bonk back to your spawn to go do some spawn camping and destroy the tele. There's not much you can do about that, other than call it out when it happens. Point is, again, very, very standard hold. Sentry gun goes on the roof somewhere. I like to put it where it's protected by the, air conditioning unit up here. Just because, this will protect it from things getting back into the yard over here and shooting at you. This can be a difficult point to hold because it can literally be attacked by any angle. The other team can bring their combo up to these stairs or back to these stairs. You can get people, the sniper or soldier back here, and you can get the demo man down on the track down here. Your main thing that you want to do with your team is to just divvy it up, have, the soldier back here watching this, your combo watching this, and this back here, and you will be watching this, usually with your sniper somewhere back there, keeping things off the cart. Dispenser. Here, somewhere here. You can jump on it to get a teleporter up there. A lot of people use this spot because it's difficult to actually take down the teleporter. You don't have much of a hitbox to deal with up there. Otherwise, you can just put the teleporter wherever. Same thing with the dispenser. If you decide not to use this spot, you might as well move it somewhere else so the spy can't hop on top of that. This is a good point to be able to back out of well because the third point is very strong. It's a very strong hold on this map. So it's better to have kind of a weak hold at second and a strong hold at third than to get rolled through second and lose third as a result. When you're rebuilding, I would prioritize getting the sentry upgraded above anything else. Build the dispenser and the teleporter if you can, just because they're useful to have up. But if your team's doing their stuff right, they should be able to get the ammo from the dispenser or drop weapons and leave at least one of these ammos for you. This one is the safe one to get because it's kind of back here. If you're alone up here and you don't have people watching this can be dangerous because if you walk over here and there's a soldier or a demo or a heavy standing here, you're kind of dead. I think that's about it. If they do push up onto the roof and there's nobody on the track down here, say they have a demo or a pyro or something that you're going to have a hard time making space between you and the sentry to deal with, you can kind of drop down into the stairs here. Oftentimes they'll forget that anybody's here. This is a good place if you want to use the Eureka effect to teleport back to spawn and get out that way. Be careful when you're running out over through here because while the enemy team's combo is pushing up onto roof, they'll have people on the cart pushing down over here. They'll usually be the scout and engineer and sniper that you're going to have to be dealing with. It's kind of unfortunate to be running away and then get killed by a mini sentry. Third point. The window spot is usually the best. It can be difficult because a level 1 sentry can't actually shoot over the edge of the window, you see? So it has to be at least a level 2 to actually be effective here. So if you know you're not going to have enough time to build up at least that much, you should probably just put it on the ground somewhere. Where I build here mostly depends on how much time I'm given. Over here, around this corner is where you go if the other team is here and you're being pressured too much to get up any kind of a better build. This will mostly just allow your team to pressure the point a little bit. Maybe you can drive them back and set up a better sentry. Maybe you can just use it to back out to last. It's not very committal and it doesn't cover a whole lot, and they can cap easily by hiding behind the cart. Sentry down here will shoot across at the tracks. Not as good of a spot as up there, but it covers stuff and you can use a level 1 with it. Dispenser here. Around here. Want it to be somewhere where you can benefit your combo if you're not putting it up there with you, which is useful just because it will give you health. Usually you're going to be pretty alone up here. There might be a soldier holding up there with you, or the pyro if your team is really committed to keeping the sentry up. But for the most part your combo is going to be down here where they can, you know, deal with the enemy team Uber and everything. Teleporter again, that's not the right spot. So I'm putting everything up with me. I'll put it here. Be careful of the spy taking it if you're putting it here, because that can happen. Otherwise, the only way the spy is going to get at you is by walking through here. Put a dispenser here to try and force the spy to have to walk over it a little bit. I don't know how good that actually is. You can easily jump over it. And it's pretty easy for another class to just destroy the dispenser. So if I put it up here, I'll usually put it back somewhere. And I can just stand up here when I'm not expecting a push, and the spy can't really get me. The tricky thing with this spot is that it can be kind of hard to shoot with the Wrangler over it, and you kind of need to use the Wrangler to make it effective. Because it has a, you can't see with the level 1, but it can shoot all the way to down here. It covers all of the entrances and stuff, and you're going to need the Wrangler just to tank them when they go for the sentry. So, what'll usually take this down, if you don't, decide to walk out here and get sniped, is either the spy backstabbing you while you're wrangling and trying to deal with an Uber, and if there's nobody else up here to watch your back, which there quite frequently won't be, there's nothing much you can do about that. If you're really concerned, you can watch in here for the spy to decloak, because that's usually where he'll be going to get it. Or the demo man will just be spamming pipes in here or something, and you'll die to splash damage that you didn't notice or couldn't dodge. That's kind of it for this point, I think. If your team does it right, it can be a pretty long hold. And the sentry being up there is pretty important to that, because you'll waste a lot of their Ubers and you'll make them spend a lot of time going for you, and you can do a lot of damage with the Wrangler, deny a lot of area. And last. So the standard spot is in this cubby somewhere. You kind of need to be careful with where you put the gun, just because it gives them more or less space when they're shooting from map room. This is going to generally go down with an Uber coming down through here, or somebody spamming at it from map room. You should have the soldier or pyro up there watching that. If the enemy soldier gets in the stairwell, sometimes he'll shoot at you around here. You just need your team's pyro or something to go deal with that. Your combo should not be holding down here with you with the gun. If they are, you should go yell at them, because all they're doing is making sure that the enemy team gets as much ground as possible, and then they take the same damage as you're doing. Should be up here more. Dispenser on this point. Usually put it up against this wall somewhere, for your benefit and for your combo's benefit. You've got the big ammos, both of those, and the spawn, of course, to deal with. And a pit for me to fall in. There's some other spots you can use too. For instance, up here. This is super, super weak to the sniper. The sniper gets into that little window room, you're basically dead. Similar is true with this spot, Except you can kind of hide in there from a sniper who's in map room. The sniper and choke can still get you. If they're pushing a lot and you'd like to shake things up a little, you can put the gun in this alcove instead. I like doing that sometimes with the rescue ranger because then I can put it there and then move it back over here, or back over like here, where it can still watch the point and waste their time and their demo man's ammo. Teleporters, of course, aren't super important, so you don't really need to worry about them. The spy, he'll usually decloak somewhere in this room, somewhere down by lower spawn, in here, where you can get the health and all that. It's pretty easy to watch out for him, just because you're down here and you have the rest of your team. Pyro will be watching your back on most of the points of this map, because you're holding usually very near your combo. Basically the standard hold for everything. I've been using the rescue ranger this whole time, and I think it is a fantastic weapon, especially if you're on a map where you are, like I just said, holding with your combo most of the time. Because what using this means is that you're basically useless if you have to ever actually shoot someone, but it's much, much easier to keep your gun up and to keep yourself alive while keeping your gun up. If I am using it with this spot, I will usually put the gun out a little bit more, like over here. And I can walk back over here, heal it when the Uber comes in, and then steal it. You do need to make sure that you have enough ammo to do that, but you have these giant packs here, so that shouldn't be a problem. If you do this a lot, they'll catch on eventually, and just look for you and try to kill you first. But it can really take people by surprise, and that's by no means the only place you can stand. It could also be somewhere in here. People will usually ignore this area because nobody uses it. Same thing with one of the spots up here. If you're standing up top, you're kind of putting yourself in a sightline. If your gun goes down and you're still alive and they're still pushing, as usual, you go back into spawn and grab the gunslinger. On one of the last videos, somebody, on the Barn Blitz one, somebody asked me why that you would do that. Wouldn't it be more effective to just rebuild the sentry while they're distracted by killing everybody on your other team? And the main reason for that is the other team will notice that you're trying to rebuild a sentry if you're building it in any useful spot. Somebody will call it out, somebody will try to shoot it, and a rebuilding level 1 sentry takes basically one hit from anybody to kill. So that's, you're wasting most of your metal. You can't rebuild another one without going and picking up more. And there's a strong chance that you're going to die with it because you're going to want to be behind it hitting it with a wrench. Whereas a mini sentry, you can build one down, run as far away from it as possible, start shooting at other people. You get the extra health too, so if you have to go jump on the cart, you can block it for longer. If you're really lucky, you'll spawn up top and you can put the mini sentry on one of the upper spawns. That makes it much harder for the other team to deal with. You can just walk and then drop down and shoot at people who are on the cart. Alright, so offense now. Hey, even got our way back. Alright, so on the first point, the first point of most payload maps is just red spams a little, blue spams a little. You can build inside spawn. That's not illegal in UGC. I'm not sure if it is in CEVO. Though building a teleporter is illegal in UGC. You can build a level 3 sentry if you want, or dispenser. Even if I'm not using a level 3 sort of strategy, I'll oftentimes just build a sentry in there anyway, just so I can pick it up and have one that'll build quickly over here. A typical strategy is usually to just come out one of these, Make sure there aren't any stickies or anything so I don't die immediately. Drop a sentry over here, somewhere where it'll protect my sniper a little bit so we can get in a better spot, and then just push the cart to the tunnel mouth. If your team can get this area up here, you should come up here. Mini sentry will help protect your sniper, your soldier while they go and shoot at the gun. You can use the Wrangler to help take it down too. If you have, multiple people just focusing fire on the gun, it will die even if it's wrangled. And you don't need an Uber to do that. Otherwise, you just sort of push through the tunnel. When it's about halfway, I'll usually run up and drop a mini sentry somewhere in this area. This means that if anybody decides to drop down to contest the cart, they have to deal with a mini sentry. If you decide to do the level 3 strategy and build and spawn, this is what you will usually do with it. You'll carry it through the tunnel as quick as possible, have your soldier whip you or something, and then set it down somewhere at this tunnel exit to basically let you get out here for free and make the other team have to deal with the level 3. So you have this area. Usually just drop a mini sentry over here. If somebody else is dealing with all this stuff and I've just respawned and come up over here and other people are capping, I'll go down here, see if you can catch anybody who's trying to back out to the next point. If you can get the medic or the engineer or something, it's really good. If you can get the sniper, you can pretty much push the cart up to here for free. If you get the engineer, you can push it pretty far for free. You can go harass the sniper without anybody bothering you, or without having to deal with a sentry at least. Teleporter usually goes here. Or here. Kind of prefer here. Same with the dispenser. Wouldn't really bother upgrading either of those just because this point isn't that difficult to take. You just kind of need to overwhelm them from multiple directions at the same time and they'll go. And you're going to want to move the dispenser, or the teleporter exit up to a more forward location because your spawn you don't get a forward spawn until you take the third point. And it's quite a long walk. Mini sentry somewhere over here. Keep the scout from being able to easily contest the cart, pick people on the cart. The sniper can pretty easily shoot it, but, if he's shooting the gun, then your sniper gets to shoot at him. Watch for the spy coming in through here. If he tries to sap your stuff, you can warn your team. Your combo will usually be holding somewhere around here, getting ready to push up to the roof. You can get back there, back in the yard. You could do the same thing that the soldier and sniper would do. Get up here, build a mini sentry, Wrangler at people. I'm not sure how effective that is, just because usually most of the meaningful stuff will be kind of out of your sight line. And usually you'll be the one who's supposed to be on the cart with your scout and all. If your team is pushing the second point right after pushing the first point, and you're basically getting second for free, you might as well just come up here and then drop a mini sentry on the high ground. You do the same thing down here, push up really far, drop a mini sentry over here. It will shoot at things on the roof, and you can prevent the other team from getting their sentry up. You can harass people who are trying to block the capture and all that. At this point, same thing. Reasonable dispensers here somewhere. If you're really spawn camping, you can always put a mini sentry up here to watch spawn too. Teleporter exit. Move it up to here. Here, this is less safe if the team still has their sniper kind of forward or people who are still kind of here, just because people will come out and kind of get trapped in this area. Don't want your medic to get stuck in one spot like that. From here, this can be, again, a hard point to push. I'll usually pressure the cart a bit, be the one who's stopping it from rolling back a little bit. Get mini sentries down in this area. If nobody's paying attention, you can, ring alert the enemy gun or whatever. Going through the boiler room can be kind of dangerous as engineer, just because usually what you'll be dealing with in here is something like a soldier, and that can be rough to deal with since you're walking in on the low ground in a kind of small area. If you have other people in here to work with you, you can kind of force your way out. If you get up here, you can try to support your sniper a little. Be really aggressive. You probably shouldn't be getting this unless your team is really pushing in or distracting them too. This area gets kind of narrow and choke pointy. So the short circuit can be kind of nice if you just want to be on the cart and be able to get it through this area. It can clear a lot of the spam off. So you have the third point. You are going to need to get your next teleporter entrance up. The forward spawn. Here's common exit spot. Up here is everybody's favorite pub spot. I don't like it so much just because it's hard to get up there since you'll usually be on the ground, so the spy can just walk up there and basically get it sapped for free. As soon as you get back up there, you're not really going to be able to deal with it. So here you can just, go and sap it. Spot for the dispenser. Around the corner where it won't get splashed by anybody, but your team can kind of retreat here when they need ammo and all that. Use this pack, it's yours. The rest of your team won't really need it, especially if you have a dispenser up. Get mini sentries down. Try to get them over here a bit where the other team has to worry about them. From here, again, it's kind of how you're going to approach it. Go with one of your flanking classes to pressure stuff. I don't think there's a whole lot you can do by going through map room here. Just because, you can't really shoot over this with a mini sentry, I don't think. No. So there's nothing you can really do here. Leave that for your soldier or whatever. If you want to go through here, useful to get control of this area. You want your sniper to get up in here so he has a nice big sight line to everything on this point. It's difficult for them to get him up here. Come down here. This spot basically shuts down this whole little area. If you want to get more aggressive, you can drop it here, harass the enemy combo. If there's nothing up here to contest you at all, you can walk in on the sniper and pressure him. Do that if I have the scout or something with me to help. If you can get a sniper pick on this point, you can basically peek choke for free. Well, there's stickies you still have to worry about, but and sentry jump. If you really want to. You can build a teleporter up here. This is a bit risky because the other team can kind of run up here. But if the other team does not know what you're doing, you can take your combo through that teleporter and then push out through the stairwell. And they won't be expecting that. Otherwise, pressure the card again. Here, it's a great spot to put a mini sentry and then go hop on the cart and get down. It, keeps the upper area clear and it'll shoot at people down on the cart still. Can usually, it may take multiple times to push into the last point, but you'll try to get the cart pushed in very far either way. Come in behind the combo, or come in from a different direction from them. When you have more control of this area, put the mini sentry down here. Here. Camping a spawn, anything like that. Once you are actually at the point of spawn camping them, you're more or less gonna win. It's like that on most payload maps.